God. These things are full of dust. It's been so long since we've done one of these. Okay. All right, got another off the ropes to go here. Let me get here and, yep. Let's go ahead and should be coming up at any point.
Is it you? Is it?
What the hell?
Yes. I see your future.
What are you doing, Kaine? What do you mean you see my future? Dude, we got a show to do. We're both on a time crunch here, man.
Kaine's not here no more.
Oh, really?
This is his possession. You need to be taught a lesson.
Do I now?
It says you need to appreciate Enzo Amore.
Oh, do I? Do I need to appreciate Zenzo? Tell me why, please.
Cruiserweights are your friends, and you will be condemned to only watch 205 live for the rest of your days, as I've summoned the power to bring you to
Kaine,
the power.
Trish Stratus.
What the freaking frack?
Are you back? Are you here?
Let's get on.
I don't know. That wasn't like a automatic home kit thing?
No, but what's been going on?
Well, we've got 2 pay-per-views that just passed. It's been like well over a month and a half, and we got another show to do right now. Man, we're on the air.
All I know is I was watching something on WWE.com about how a certain possessed soul was coming with Bray Wyatt, and I had to look into it. So I talked to Pappy Snooker. We went to parts unknowns. And we were reading this Textonomicon, and all of a sudden, I'm here. I guess I fell asleep or something, right? That must have happened.
Sure. We'll go with that. At any rate, yeah, you got to do your thing, man.
Podcast time?
Podcast time.
Okay, time to suit up now. Look at this bad boy.
Like the new specs. Like the new specs.
One more thing.
What's that?
Lights up. We're ready to go. Power on. Juice is loaded. There's no way to go about this. Folks, my name is Kaine Super Snooker, and that's my man over there, Kaine the Faded Saint, and you are back to Off the Ropes. Welcome back to Off the Ropes again. My name is Kaine Super Snooker, and I got my man over there from Knowledge, Kaine the Faded Saint. And if you're a bit confused about that opening bit, don't worry, we're going to get to it in the future tense, because some crazy outreach stuff is going on now on Monday Night Raw. But before we get into that, we have a splendid amount of information coming from our 2 past pay-per-views that are going to go head-to-head today as we discuss them. We have ourselves No Mercy.
No Mercy.
You notice they got rid of that for this specific one. There's always a SmackDown one that's like, No Mercy. I guess the marketing like that. And, of course, Hell in a Cell, or I should say, Rage in a Cage. Well, that was last year's. But this year's, it's What the Hell is in this Cell? Because, my God, Maggle, we're going to talk real deep about some of the shit we just saw in the last month. But otherwise that, how you doing, Kami?
I'm doing great. I got nuggets. I don't have Szechuan sauce, but I've got nuggets. But we got a whole lot. We got a whole lot to talk about. We need to get right into it. And of course, that started off. Can you believe it's been almost a month and a half since we last talked, my friend? It's been that long.
Splendid vacation. Splendid.
It felt nice to have a month between pay-per-views, didn't it?
A little bit. I kind of missed you though.
I missed you too. But I mean, I was by the time we got to No Mercy, which is the first pay-per-view here on the docket here, I was not at all feeling the hangover like I had been at SummerSlam.
Well, here's the scary question. Now that we know that technically, even though this is like the cusp of October that we had this pay-per-view, are we getting 2 more before Survivor Series?
Yep, we are.
So we're back to our normal schedule then. Yep. We're on that level, so we're good to go.
But like we said,
pre-show, baby.
Oh yeah, we got no mercy. We got that pre-show, and you know what was on that pre-show? It was Titus Worldwide being represented by Apollo Crews versus the man called Elias. Elias makes fun of Titus. Elias hits drift away on Apollo, and he's had that match at least 3 times since.
Squashed wise, too. It's been like
damn.
Squash Apollo. I don't know if Apollo pissed someone off or some weird thing that's in the cause that you can't have good people like him do something. But man, I felt he got rushed in NXT and he got pushed up to the card fast in the main card and has drifted in Deadwood ever since then. But I have to say the redeeming quality right now is Elias, because man, in NXT, he was garbage. He was terrible. The gimmick didn't work. And I guess because how they sold it from the very beginning with Elias, him walking around the arena, playing his thing, and then coming out of nowhere in context of backroom brawls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He's growing on me. I don't know what it is, but he needs to get off the pre-show.
They're actually investing time in him, which is which they haven't done with a lot of other people. But he's got a gimmick that can get a lot of heat because he's just basically a modern honky tonk man.
Almost. I mean, he's a little definitely.
Or if you want to get even more updated, he's a modern JEFF JARRET. That's double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh God, don't remind me. Either way, bad examples all around. But I have to say though, if you notice, the ones that they slow cook, they become better stars than the ones that they get rushed out of the stardom of NXT. Because look at. In this case, my main god, Braun Strowman. They slow cooked him with a bunch of squash matches and made him like, I'm hungry to fight all these people. And now he is so white hot. Everything he does is money right now to me. So
yeah, but he never went to NXT.
True, but he also was kind of punished by staying in the Wyatt family as a big goof who would get squashed by Roman Reigns a year or so ago, and now has to pretty much do a freaking reunion show of the Shield in order for this to even make him go against the Braun. So, I feel like he got his lickings by being in the Bray Wyatt family for a little bit.
No, I'm with you though. I'm into Elias. I like what they're doing. He's by far, in recent memory, the most successful call-up from NXT. I still maintain that since he's the drifter, he should have been drifting between brands, but I won't be mad at it. I like the push. Hopefully we can get him in. Hopefully we can elevate Miz to the world title picture as soon as we get Bork out of the way. And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I would love to see Elias versus JJ or something.
Yeah, and get Elias in that Intercontinental Championship mix. But as we said, it was Elias defeating Apollo Crews with the drift away. And that brought us into the pay-per-view proper. And speaking of JJ... it was starting off for the Intercontinental Championship, The Miz with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel versus Jason Jordan Angle. Miz won.
You can't say it any better, but I have to say, though, the Miztourage was a genius idea from the get-go. I know people have some reserves about having Bo.
Actually, let's be more specific. Bo Dallas won that match.
Yes, all the way through.
Bo Dallas won that match, and The Miz just happened to retain his title as a result.
Yeah, I would say so. But I have to say, though, like I said, the Miztourage is just pure gold.
Oh yeah,
and I think that it was a need. I think Axel needed it really bad, and Bo needed it really bad because they got scraped off the side when they lost that faction they were doing with
Heath Slater and Adam Rose.
Yeah. When Adam got pretty much kicked out and they were like brand split, they pretty much did nothing for a bit. So I'm really happy that they're starting to utilize them in a way that makes it sound like they're badasses in the side.
They did this thing with Bo where like they made him out to be like this vicious dude all of a sudden, and then they just dropped it out of nowhere.
Screw it.
But I mean, this match was when Jason Jordan gets in the ring, he's phenomenal. But it's the Jason Jordan Angle thing. It's the fact that he's Kurt Angle's kid, which is what makes this so god awful. And Miz, man, the only reason why Miz is not in the world title scene is because the world title scene is crowded by Bork and Braun.
Well, if you think about it, and this is a little small rant on my half, if you notice, the Universal title and the Intercontinental title share the same setback right now. And that is it's been held on to a champion that doesn't necessarily use it all the time for matches. I mean, The Miz is definitely more interactive than Brock Lesnar, but those two titles haven't had a title change in a bit.
I'll agree with you there, but here's the other problem with that. One is because Brock Lesnar is lazy and he doesn't wrestle. More than 10 minutes.
Smart. He's a smart motherfucker for making his contract the way it is. Yes.
Oh, he's smart, but the rest of us lose out for it.
Oh, 100%.
But Miz, that's all their fault because The Miz is visible and he's actually turned it into part of his gimmick. He's like, I'm the Intercontinental Champion and I was the first pre-show match to 100 people at SummerSlam because fuck all, you guys couldn't get your shit together, and by the time our match was on, not everyone was in their seats. And screw y'all. I'm making this title relevant, and he's right. The Miz is right. He is making this title relevant, and he's keeping the title relevant despite all of their efforts to try and make people forget about it.
But we do need good mixture though, because we do.
The
stating title thing.
It's the same thing with that I came up with NXT. Why I stopped watching NXT was because for like what was it, like 10 months you had the same 3 champions.
Well, the women's champion, 100%,
and Rude. Oh
Rude
no,
didn't have it for 10 months.
No, Rude had it for 6 months though.
Well, that's because they don't like to.
And AOP had it for 8 months.
Well,
yes, they do.
Authors of Pain is a different conversation too.
But yes, they do. They do like to take those titles because Shinsuke didn't hold either of his title reigns for more than 2 weeks.
I don't know. Well, I guess.
Oh no, one was 2 months. One was 2 months. One was 2 weeks.
I thought it was between 2 pay-per-views.
No, because he lost it. Because he won it. He lost it to Joe at the next pay-per-view. He won it back before a month later, and then he lost it again at the next pay-per-view to Rude.
Yeah, but that little middle transition was because they wanted to make sure he won it in Japan.
And they did the same thing to Sammy, and they did the same thing to Finn.
Oh, don't talk about Sammy right now.
We'll get to Sammy. Sammy's the end of the show. But The Miz over Jason Jordan. And that brings us to the oh my god fuck ow match of the year. I am of course talking about Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus Shame Cesaro. And dear God, about 5 minutes into this match, they did a slingshot into the corner, and Cesaro hits the post with his 2 front teeth, and he doesn't knock them out. He knocks them up into his gums, and then he does another 15 to 20 minutes. Ow, ow, ow. Oh my fucking God, ow.
And it's kind of funny because wasn't Sheamus the reason why Jeff Hardy lost his tooth?
Yep.
So what hell of a karma setup for that tag team, man. Oh boy.
Sheamus was all man that night. And it was despite the fact that he was visibly bleeding from his mouth.
Oh yeah, he was going hard.
Like visibly bleeding from his mouth. Like, despite the fact he still went, like, he wasn't sitting on the side. He wasn't sitting there like, oh, no, I can't wrestle anymore. He was doing spots. They did that, like, white noise power bombing Dean onto
They did everything. They did not just them, but even Dean and frickin' Rollins were crazy amount of stuff to go on. The only thing I didn't like is that they just literally took their 2 finishers and put them together at the end. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
But, I mean, this was the match of the fucking night.
Oh, yeah.
What it was.
And what is with the tag team division?
I was about to say the same thing. Like, the tag
match
team
of the nights.
The tag team division ain't
deal.
The tag team division ain't fucking around no more. They are not going to put up with your bullshit
anymore.
You
know what, though? I have to say, the only pet peeve, of course, I had was that these were 2 known now, at least, single superstars that had to mesh together to fight the tag team titles. It was like something like Seth and Dean were like, dude, we need belts. Why are you not letting us go for the Intercontinental? Why? Like, you know what? Make a deal with you. Tag belts. And that's it. Because that's the other downside of this whole thing, too. As much as this is a goddamn great match, as much as also what happens at the Hell in a Cell we're going to discuss later, these tag team matches are fantastic. But it's the dark side of this is that the tag team division is so murky right now.
It is like the same guys, like putting on the same great matches. Yeah,
but even so, they had to put up 2 singles wrestlers together to make another tag team. Because look at the roster. Look at the roster. What's going on with, like the Hardys, for example? One's injured. They can't do it right now. Even the club had a little bit of a backset, I believe. And then, of course, our main guys from NXT.
The Revival.
Who came up for maybe a half a blink of a second.
Yeah.
And lost it all again. 2 injuries, by the way. Both of them injured on their own accord. So they are slamma-jamma. And then they break up tag teams like American Alpha so they could do some weird Kurt Angle shtick. And that takes another man out of the group. It's nuts.
It is
nuts.
I will argue, though, that this is kind of... Because Seth and Dean weren't really doing anything. And so this has really kind of revived them. And knowing what we know now... This kind of leads into where we are as of Raw last night.
They're only doing this for Survivor Series. That's what's killing me. But I'll diverse.
Groovy for Survivor Series, but
this match was hell. This match was hell, and it was fantastic. And I'm so glad it happened because it wasn't a bad lineup going further either. I was so on board with the next match too.
That would be, of course. By the way, Dean and Seth retained. If we didn't mention it. But the next match, of course, would be your reigning Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, versus Sasha Banks, versus Nia Jax, versus Emma, versus Bayley just because at the last minute. Because why not? Why not have Bayley in there as well?
They need She-Hogan, so why not?
I guess
she's savage.
She's savage, and she took the fall. I want to point out something weird in this match. When they were doing the intros, did you find it weird that the only one who they announced wait for was Nia Jax?
Yes, purposely. They did it purposely.
Why?
Because they needed to show that the big girl is going to take some serious bumps. My God, that match with the bumps. She deserves that whole match. She should have gotten that damn women's title that night right there. But because she went full ham on getting the bumps, she was doing all the legwork for a big girl. She deserved it, and of course, it didn't happen.
She did a lot, and I'll say this much: I wasn't happy with the ending, mostly because you could kind of see where it was going. The moment Bayley was in the match, it was like, oh, I'll bet you she's the one who's going to take the fall.
Of course.
Because of course she was. Of course she was. That's just the way
and
it goes.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. I'm just not okay with Nia Jax not winning.
I mean, it's better than Sasha winning, I suppose. And better because I'm tired of Sasha winning.
Well, who isn't? Because right now she's considered the definitive paper champion. The real reason why people call it a paper champion, the one that flip-flops the belt and muddies the belt. She doesn't keep it for more than 24 hours, it looks like, because she gives it up at the next night on Raw. So it's ridiculous.
She's never successfully defended the title, never once.
Yeah, we mean successful. Yeah, I get what you mean. Retained it, you mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she gets the title, and the next time she puts it up, the first time she puts it up after she gets it, she always gives it back.
Yeah, Gonzo.
But I mean, that's what it is. Alexa won, off of Bayley. And
now I'm also still happy that Alexa Bliss at least retained, because I'm not sure how it would have felt if Emma won or Bayley or Sasha.
It would have been something new. Bayley doesn't need to get the title.
Emma at most, I'll give you that.
Emma would have been something new. Bayley, they've just screwed her character all to hell.
No, they're right up there with Alicia Fox for all I care right now.
I'm gonna wait until Bayley 2.0, aka Dakota Kai, comes up from NXT.
Yeah, pretty much.
and see if they can get it right that time. But moving on, that brings us to probably the match everyone's going to be really talking about this pay-per-view.
Oh, the fourth wall match?
The fourth wall match. That is, of course, big match. John Cena versus Roman Reigns.
Okay. All right, is it just me, or are people getting sick and tired of WWE putting on shoot promos before these matches when it comes to like people like John Cena? Because he did this with The Miz, and now he did it with Roman, and of course, Roman got the worst bury.
Oh, he got
promo hit.
He got destroyed.
And if you,
like, I remember we were in chat and we were like, "Oh my god, you weren't actually listening at the time. You were just me and a couple of the other guys in chat. We were just like
the entire promo.
Yeah, we were just like R.I.P. Roman, victim of verbal homicide. And you're like, what's happening? And it's like John Cena just killed Roman on national television. If you haven't seen the promos, go see the promos for the love of God.
Folks, if you don't, if anything, just let you know in context, it was been about a month long because SummerSlam was a bit of a distance for this pay-per-view. So they got some traction to make Roman and John Cena look like a good match. And it was a good match when it happened. But the deliverance really came from those promos. My favorite line still to this time frame is when Roman fubbed and didn't go to the next pace, and John goes, "All right, no, take your time. I mean, it's called a
promo. It's called a promo. You got to learn how to do one sometime." Yeah. And it was just downhill from there. And then it was very obvious after that, because that was the first in a series of promos, that they made John stick to the script. Because if John goes off script, he kills you. You're done. You're dead. And they made Roman look strong. And that was kind of a metaphor for this match, because this match made Roman look strong.
That WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar. You know it's coming. Now it scared me. Now, you know what scared me though?
What's that?
When that match ended, because Roman did win. We all know this. But what scared me is that everyone was thanking John, and we were like on chat, like, did he retire? Is he gone after this? And we're like, what is going on?
Well, this is what I have to say about the match as a whole.
But why? It was a good match.
It was a predictable match. It was a predictable match with a predictable ending and just building towards, because they did this exact shit with Daniel Bryan back before his first WrestleMania main event. And what was it? It was the exact same thing. It was, Roman comes out and Daniel sits there. It's like, you're not a wrestler. And then he beats Daniel. And Daniel's like, I respect this guy. No, you don't, Daniel. We know you don't. We know they're making you say that. Stop it. And that was...
You talk about the day... Man down.
See? You see, Roman is trying to make Kaine job to him right now on air. You guys can't see it, but he just jumped by it and gave him a Superman punch. He wants to make he's trying to He's trying to inhibit your journalistic integrity. Do not cave to Roman Reigns.
That's what happens when I try to have a fresh minty breath. I get choked on a peppermint when I talk about Roman Reigns. Oh, man.
May this be a lesson to you kids at home. Do not eat mince while talking about Roman Reigns.
Yes, do not. Because I'm afraid to say it now. I'm afraid. He's done it. He won. Roman won. You won the world. But no, in all seriousness, you're talking about the day that Roman pretty much was the most hated man because he threw out Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble, and they had to try to reconcile this at Fastlane.
No. He didn't throw out Bray Wyatt. Threw out Daniel Bryan, and Roman won that Royal Rumble.
Oh,
but then
worse. That's right.
Yeah, because Daniel didn't even make it past 15, and that was after the year that they wanted Daniel Bryan to be in the Royal Rumble, and he never showed up because they didn't put him in. That was the year that they pissed the fans off so much that they booed Rey Mysterio Jr.
This is true. Very true.
But they did this with Daniel Bryan, and it didn't work. And they did it with John Cena, and you know what? It didn't work. Do you know what did work? The Shield reunion.
Oh God, don't talk about that.
Because last night on Raw, was that not the most over you've seen Roman in forever?
Oh God, they were hand jobbing him the shit so hard because they had we're jumping. We're gonna talk about that later. All right, because I have a rant and a half for that alone. But in this case, this match, I agree that it's predictable, but I knew it was going to be predictable because let's face it, you have to have the context of these two showstoppers doing their thing. That's like asking Shawn Michaels not to end the match with a sweet chin music or an elbow drop. It had to happen. Yeah, it is.
All it is asking for them to have some creativity. And the moment Roman kicked out of the Super AA, the chain AA, you knew how it was going to go. You knew, and even though you kind of knew ahead of time how it was going to go, it was just the most freaking annoying thing in the world. And like at that point, I was with Best and Mims, and I was like, "That's it. That they're putting Roman over," and they're like, "There's no way they're putting Roman over Big Match John." He just kicked out of his super finisher. They're putting him over.
I knew Roman wasn't going to win before that. Like, how can you think John Cena was going to win that at all?
Because I thought they were going to do the smart thing and they were going to make it a series of matches.
Oh, you thought the WWE writing was smart. That was your first mistake.
No, I thought they were greedy, is what I thought. I thought they were going to try and milk that match straight through Survivor Series.
Oh, no. They want to make sure they had their plans. They just wanted to make sure that John Cena can go away peacefully, and at the same time pass the torch to Roman the way that they want to have it. Because let's face it, that Shield reunion that's going to happen is going to skyrocket him through the moon. Brock's going to come out of nowhere, take on their Shield, and he's going to say, "I'm going to take revenge on you at WrestleMania." Book that, WWE. Put that down. You owe us money. It's going to happen.
Well, with that said, do you have anything else to say about the match proper? Because we still have 2 more matches to go.
No, I'm trying to avoid very hard not to talk about the next match.
You mean the Enzo Amore versus Neville match? You mean the fucking atrocity, the burial of 205 Live? Okay, so, all right, hold on. Okay, so I have been fucking accused by some people who will remain nameless and untested methods on my friend on Facebook that I just don't like Enzo. That I've just decided that he's shit. And that all of a sudden I don't like 205 Live because of Enzo. I would like to go on the record as saying, and you as my witness, I have never liked Enzo Amore. I have never liked his ass. I have never been on the Enzo Amore chain. I'm not shitting on him because he's the Cruiserweight champion. I'm shitting on him because he's a horrible person. He's a horrible character. He is somewhat of a great promo, but it's the same promo over and over and over again. I have hated him, and there were plenty of people on 205 Live that they could have used to try and do it if they want to do big lighting, but no, they turned it into the fucking Enzo Amore show. They do this nonsensical bullshit where he cheats to win the belt, he comes out, he buries the entire division somehow because Kurt Angle apparently has head trauma or something. He signs some order that anyone that touches me forfeits their shot, and so they do the big angle with Neville beating him up, and then Braun beating him up, and the Cruiserweight division beating him up, and then he comes out the next week, he's like, all right, well, Kurt Angle signed this to say you'd be fired, and then all of a sudden it's just a build up to fucking Kalisto, which I was disappointed in that. Fuck that. I wanted Johnny fucking Gargano in there, but fuck that. It was freaking Kalisto, which just sucked the air straight out of the room. And then they set it up for a match this week, which Kalisto wins because they can't write worth shit. And they wanted to get out of the Enzo trap that they had written. This match was fucking soul crushing. Oh my God, I wanted to choke everything living after this match. It made me so mad to think that Enzo fucking Amore had a title before Sami fucking Zayn. Oh! I'm done.
You done, boo-boo? You done? Check your heart rate there for a minute. Use your watch.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
You made some good points there. I have to say, though, I am totally not on board with Enzo anymore, but I have to appreciate that heat he was trying to bring to 205. You say he buried it. I say he revived it.
No. Let's make no mistake. This was a demotion for Enzo. He was not sent to 205 Live because he was sent to save it. He was sent to 205 Live because he got kicked out of Raw's locker room.
Yes and no. Yes, he got bad heat for doing a lot of I would say peacocking, but let's face it, nobody was watching 205 Live. Statistically in the ratings now, because of Enzo doing his thing, it boosted. Because of Raw's match last night, it also boosted. People are going to watch 205 Live tonight because of this stuff. He is a fanatic. What hurt the most, though, is they made Neville look like some crack den little shit now. He looks like he cries for hours because he doesn't have his title anymore. That the first time we met him, when the final ending of Raw, which, by the way, Enzo cooked that whole group hard when he was telling them how you guys couldn't even get past the first 2 hours, and then you're here on the third right now doing our last bit at the end of Raw. That was pretty dope. But I have to say, more importantly, is looked at Neville's face. He looked like not only did his wife die, but he had to go and get neutered, and he can't longer have any shrimp or something. It's all his favorite things in the world. Can't have it. And his toys got taken away on top of that belt because his face looked like he was crying for hours. Like they just told him to toughen the fuck up just to get out there for a little bit because his face was so damaged. He looked like he was literally like he's been possessed in a way. And then he goes off and does absolutely nothing about it because Enzo does the cheap heat. I hated this match. I hated how it ended. I hate how they decided to do a peaker heel turn for Enzo just to make him peacock all his shit because it definitely doesn't fuel the fire for his backstage bullshit that he's been dealing this whole time. None of that's really showing in this little peacocking moment. God forbid that isn't the case that they're going to try to deter that. No, they embrace it instead. All around, that's the only thing I'm really upset with is that they made Neville into a quivering little, shivering little shit after that.
Well, and that's the other problem I have with it. If you were going to really utilize Enzo, you would have put him as a face because he does, weirdly enough, have all of those people who follow him regardless of cheating on Liv Morgan, which is beyond my freaking sphere of comprehension.
She is so gorgeous too,
and she's such a great person, and she does like all this charity stuff too. But it's just one of those things where it's like, how could you cheat, you slime ball, on someone like that? How could you cheat in general? But it's one of those.
He's not the only dirty boy in the back.
I know he's not. But I mean, it's like this is and then they turn him heel. It's like, all right, so you've just killed any appeal that he had going for him because
Scott still loves him.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't know what they want, but we need to move.
That's an interesting subject too.
I don't get
pure
that.
Heel, no pure face anymore.
Well, we can't avoid talking about this last match any longer.
Oh, I love this match. But everyone hates the ending, of course.
Well, I hate the matches total, and we're of course talking about the other WrestleMania caliber match, quote unquote. Brock Lesnar, your Universal Champion, versus Braun. You want to go first, or do you want me to start ranting again?
I think we should not rant about this. I think we should just walk away peacefully. It happened.
Okay. Then I'll make it short and sweet. This was the exact same match he had with Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Right down to the ending. I mean, the moves were a little different because obviously, Samoa Joe is a very technical wrestler and Braun is a powerhouse. They were two different styles, but it was the exact same match. That's all it was. And once again, Brock Lesnar hits a fucking F5 out of nowhere, and that's enough to beat him after taking damage upon damage upon damage.
Actually, he did fight him back a little bit. The problem with Braun, I noticed, is that after a while he gets very winded out, like a true giant does. And when that happens, you have to literally try to give him breathing room, step him back in order for him to get off. Because even with Roman, when he fought Roman had to put all his energy into a lot of those moves to get him back off. But I do have to say, the thing I appreciated that entire feud was all the promos before this. Man, did he no-sell the shit out of Brock Lesnar's suplex that night on Raw?
Oh yeah,
that was so delicious.
But once again, if he no-sold that, why does the F5? Why is the F5 the most protected move in wrestling right now?
Because
fuck that noise.
It's his contract, probably.
Maybe. I'm done with Brock Universal Champion, but I've been done with Brock Universal Champion for a while.
He's actually part of our audience question of the night after this.
Oh, okay. But Brock over Braun, because why not? Because we have to sacrifice him to Roman and make Roman look strong. And that was our pay-per-view. That was No Mercy 2017. I'm going to give it a C+.
I'm right around you. I'm going to go with B because that tag team match deserved a lot more than just a C grade.
There was a lot of the tag team match is what gets the plus, but the Braun Brock match and the Enzo thing pulls it down, especially since that shit was at the end of the night.
I guess, but that I feel like that's still pretty. I mean, it's your score. I'm not going to judge it there, but 2 matches I don't think warrants a C+ to me. But that tag team match, the Miz and Jason Jordan match was also great. I still love the women's Fatal 5-Way, as you call it. Just the only thing that, and I personally like the Braun match still because it still looked powerful. It still looked good. It just, of course, rubber stamp the F5 and a win is something they need to take off the goddamn writer's block. The writers get when they make a match for him. And
you know me. The way the pay-per-view ends will cost you a letter grade, and that's the case here. Enzo took the wind out of me after what was for the most part a great night of wrestling, and then Brock and Braun, endeavored to disappoint.
Fair enough. Still gonna give it a B. You give it a C+.
C+.
I'm good with those. We're right next to each other. We're neighbors.
So, are we doing the question now, or are we doing it at the end of the night?
Oh, we're doing it at the end of the night because you know how we do it. We like to make sure everything's all said and done here.
Well, with that said, we are going to go ahead and we are going to go to break. But on the other side, we have Hell in a Cell, and some interesting stuff went on then. And we will see you after the break.
See you soon, folks.
On behalf of Kaine Snuka and myself, the Fated Saint, we would like to thank Meet Chet for our closing theme, Picnic in the Reactor. We would also like to thank All Arounda for our opening theme, Destruction. And this week, we are giving it up to our man, Sammy, who looks like he's finally about to get into relevance. But we're going to do it in a very special way, because it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Aha. Take on Sammy. Enjoy.
folks, we just want to take this brief moment here, and we will get to Hell in a Cell in a moment. But we, as a team here at Off the Ropes, myself being here, Joseph, and my man over here, Chris, we just want to take a brief moment here to really recognize a really true benefacting character in our lives when it comes to wrestling in general, and that was Bobby the Brain Heenan. He did pass away from the timely cancerous situations that he was going on with his life. And it's a tough break because I know, as someone like myself, I didn't know Bobby as the side manager for the WWE, or should I say WWF, when it comes to his time frame of the era. I knew him and appreciated him as the commentator in WCW, and a lot of the stuff that he did between that and just before he went to WCW was a big impact on me because he had the most cleverest ways to engage somebody. And with the WWE Network, I got to see it a lot more in detail as I was doing a lot of my 80s and 90s pretty much binge watching of the archives of the Vault of the WWE Network. And you got to see so much talent. And the fact that he just got cut down really early, right after WCW, with him getting diagnosed with throat cancer, that it just makes it harder for us to realize that there was probably some really good opportunities where he could have came on to Raw or SmackDown and really shined it up with a little promo, with a little special guest moment, because he was very talented and he knew how to get under people's skin, and that's what I guess makes me appreciate him more, because that talent resonates in today. Even though my character's name is based off of Jimmy Snuka, it's the talent behind people like Bobby the Brain Heenan that I get to emphasize as a character on the show.
And for me, I grew up, All-American Wrestling and Primetime Wrestling with Gorilla Monsoon every Sunday, every Monday. If you can go onto the WWE Network and you can see some of that stuff, it is absolute gold. Listening to him on commentary, watching him as a manager for Andre the Giant, for Ravishing Rick Rude, for the Brainbusters, it is. There's a reason why almost every manager will say that Bobby the Brain Heenan is the greatest manager that ever lived, probably the greatest all-around sports entertainer that ever lived, is because he was a wrestler back in the 60s. He was a manager. And then he was a commentator. He could do it all. And he would always turn on just like that.
Yeah. He pretty much also made the first ever episode of Monday Night Raw more entertaining than it could possibly be. Nothing can beat the fact that he was trying to get into Raw so many different ways with the disguises and all the manipulations didn't work. And eventually got in, and it made the show more entertaining and made the hour to 2 hour long show happen. So I can't appreciate him even more than he has.
And so from the very bottom of our heart here at Off the Ropes, we'd like to say Godspeed, Bobby.
And I hope that you're having the best commentary right now with Gorilla Monsoon up in heaven.
And we'll get back to your scheduled program right now, guys. Welcome back. I'm your boy, Kaine the Faded Saint. That is my boy, Kaine Super Whatsnuka. And this week is brought to you by the Geraton 6000. Yes, I have purchased a Geraton 6000, and I can watch glorious TV in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 15K. That's right, not 16K, that's too much. Not 14K, that's too little. 15K video. Right there on the screen. It's big, it's beautiful, it's bodacious. It was ridiculously expensive, and I asked them specifically to give me the deal because I'm friends with Chris Jericho's #1 fan, L'Oreal. So if you're looking for it, head over to your local Geratron 5000's appliance store. Tell them that L'Oreal sent you, and you will get the L2J discount.
She's literally going to cave your face in one day. I'm just laying that.
She is.
So much anger from that girl, from that woman. She is going to beat you in.
Probably. You've seen her guns, but we don't have any time to waste because SmackDown's on at the moment, and we have to get to Hell in a Cell. And oh my God, man, this show. Well, I shouldn't say this show, but I mean there was something about this show, and we're gonna jump right into it. With the first match, the pre-cook. It was Gableman or Shelter American America's Greatest Tag Team?
Benjable?
The world's greatest alpha or something?
What about Benjables?
Clark Gable and Benjamin versus the Hype Bros. Spoiler alert, the Hype Bros didn't win.
Of course not.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if we're going to get like Zack Ryder heel. Mojo is just there because he knows Rob Gronkowski. It was a thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was very predictable. You have anything to say about the match?
Well, I mean, it definitely wasn't the strongest tag team of the night. But
no, that one's next, isn't it?
But I have to say, I need to know what kind of deal Shelton Benjamin wrote. I hope it's the money, because that man should have just kept what he was doing in the Indies, because he was a rock star there at least. Because right now, tagging up with Chad, Gable like that, and not even like getting some good cred, getting pre-cooked. I'm not dealing that shoe.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, they'll get some. Hopefully, they'll get some traction and make a decent run at the Usos. We hope. Which, speaking of, the next match, the beginning, Hell in a Cell tag team titles. It was the New Day versus the Usos, and God damn, this match. First of all, Kofi was on the outside while Big E and Xavier did the proper tag. It was tornado rules. It was all over the place.
I have to say, I'm glad that Xavier Woods is more involved than when they really started the New Day, because he was more of the manager for the group in the beginning, and they really improved that opportunity, because that match was, I have to say, flawless. It was. I really don't think there was anything I didn't like about it. I don't recall any bad botches or any botches at all.
No, like Xavier. This was Xavier's coming out party. And he took some damage.
Exactly. And even worse, and with when you add weapons and movable objects into it, you expect a botch or two, and that didn't happen in at least I didn't see it.
No, they were very. They were very inventive. And that's been we joked about in the last hour how, the tag team division has the same guys like putting on the same great matches, but they are really good matches. These are the same guys at SummerSlam that got pre-cooked, and they went, "Oh, you gonna pre-cook us?"
Pretty much.
Like I don't mind, although they need to figure out which one of them they're going to put the title on, and then shuffle them along for another tag team soon. But really, guys, this is a good one that I'm actually opening right there.
I think you just want to drink right now. I don't think this is so.
No. I mean, my hat's off. Like Xavier was handcuffed and like hanging off of a corner and taking Kaine shots and shit.
Yeah, that was there was some backlash with that one. But,
and he was like fighting back. I mean, eventually, Usos win with the double Us splash on a chair on a handcuffed Xavier Woods to become the 4-time tag team champions.
I want you to think about what you just said. A double splash with a chair, handcuffed Xavier Woods. That's how extensive that shit went in this match.
There is no way that we can properly give this match justice.
No,
you just got to watch it. It's the first match in Hell of a Cell.
And you know what? I have to say, it beats even the Asylum match, which had a lot more weapons involved with Jericho and Dean Ambrose. Any of the TLCs in the last 5 years, nowhere near comparison to the street fight match that happened at this Hell in a Cell. They went full ham. They used tables. They used ladders. No, they didn't use ladders. They used chairs. They used kendos. They used
rainbow kendo sticks.
They used rainbow kendo sticks. They everything except for the extinguisher, I feel. Almost a lot of the stuff was pre-exposed, and they didn't just like use a kendo stick. I slap you in the back. You're on the floor like Hulk Hogan does or something. No, they went full freaking crazy. Like I said, they got a little heat for that match because the way Xavier Woods was hung up like that was in the corner made it look like he was a whipping post. When it comes to slaves and stuff. So that was a backlash they got. but it wasn't totally as bad as it sounds like I'm saying here, folks. Because the match still was very good. One of my favorite moments is when they mushed Jay into the corner of the Hell in a Cell, and they threw the kendo sticks across him so that he couldn't get out. That was great. Oh boy!
Exactly. Oh no! And that is, and I mean, it was the match of the night. These guys very clearly decided that they were going to take the tag team division for SmackDown on their shoulders, and they were going to show you why you were going to care. And they've made us care again. This division was dead at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It was dead at WrestleMania. We were like, where are the tag teams? They're like, the New Day's coming over, but they've done it.
They changed.
They made it work, and there's really nothing more that we can really say about it. Just is what it is.
The Usos have shined. Their rebranding of their heel is so good. And they gave them the opportunity to be on mic like the New Day is, where they got to spin their own stuff, and they're doing it. When they're humble, though, I noticed that they stutter, because if you watch Talking Smack after this, they really were flubbing up on when people were commenting good things about them. So it was hard for them to really
because they can't because they're dedicated to being the heel if they're the heel.
Yeah, true. But this match is just ungodly. It was very ungodly. And what sucks is that this match was so jelly and so good, it made a lot of the other matches coming after.
Yeah, it really brought everyone else down.
It definitely took the piss out of the room.
Oh, go away, Zach. Go away, Mojo. God. Oh, fuck. Well, anyway, let's go to the next match before these people piss me off too much.
Stay away from the SmackDown Live broadcasting. Quiet.
And that was, of course, Rusev versus Randy Orton.
Randall
Q. Orton. Randall Q. Orton, the reason why I drink. Randall Q. Orton, the reason why my liver needs to be transplanted.
Do you need to be 8 years into the company or better to automatically win against Rusev? Do you have to be like 5 years under the company or less for Rusev to beat you? I don't get it. Why is John Cena and Randy Orton? I feel like Rusev is like a kidnap victim in a house, and the two kidnappers are Randy Orton and John Cena, and they're like, I'm done beating him up. It's your turn now. And they're just sitting here, just beating the fuck out of this guy, because there's not been one redeeming situation between the last three major components that he had against Rusev, which was John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. So,
Randy Orton won. I'm not going to use this time to talk about the match, because the match is about what you would expect the match to be. I'm going to actually use the time to say, how good is freaking Rusev and Aiden English together? How much, should Aiden English not be like Rusev's permanent, ring announcer?
Yeah,
kind of like
why not? He's got that Guerrero money. Let him fucking do what he wants with this manager.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He would be so good as the personal, if he would sing along with Rusev's music. I'm digging Aiden English. I'm digging
and the pre-show, he did
Elias.
A good job too.
Exactly.
He did a great job in the pre-show doing that, hyping up Rusev. And by the way, another side note, Rusev fit as fuck these days, man. He does, if you look at Rusev 2 years ago, yeah, he was still a hot, husky dude and big and all, but now he is lean, he is destructive, and the short hair really works for him. So I feel like they need to push him hard soon.
I do.
Randy Orton thing. Make it happen.
They need to do something with him. They need to quit burying him.
Do not make him Bray Wyatt.
Well, with that said, we got to talk about something else here. And, of course, the first thing that we're going to talk about is, of course, the fact that the next match was Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles. But, oh, no, it wasn't. Because guess who slimes his way into the match at the beginning of the freaking pay-per-view? Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Mr. Ty Dillinger somehow managed to get his way into this match, and so it became a triple threat. It became freaking AJ Styles versus boring or balding Corbin, who now has the lyrics to his stupid new music, which I hate, versus Ty Dillinger. And I guess this was their way of protecting AJ so that they could get the title onto, who's it? What is... Never mind. Yeah, it was a good match. it would have been a better match if we hadn't seen that freaking New Day Uso match.
Again, took the piss out of the room, man. It made it hard.
It did.
It made it super hard. I'm just glad that AJ Styles didn't win, though. I would have loved to do a curveball and see Ty Dillinger win, but overall, I'm still impressed with it.
With everything that they've fucking done with Baron Corbin, it had to be Corbin. Otherwise, you just kill them.
Yeah, I think the one thing I do like, though, I thought was pretty funny, is how he got into the triple threat match.
He went to the yes 10, yes 10.
Yeah. That was funny. Let's admit it. It was funny.
Your winner, Boring Corbin, is your new U.S. champion. I'm going to drink some more.
Boring Corbin.
Fucking Boring Corbin has the title for Sami Zayn.
Can we not talk about what's coming up?
We have to.
If the piss was out of the room, this sucked out the air.
Are you sure you've got the right match?
Rude versus Ziggler. No.
Oh no! I'm sorry. That's my bad. Apparently, I skipped a couple of matches in my pre-match warm-up. My bad. That's on me. I will tell the production assistant that he done scoofed.
Did you borrow Jackie again?
No. Where is Jackie?
She's on vacation.
Okay. No, the next match was Natty Neidhart, Mrs. Faded Saint, as Mims so affectionately calls her, versus Charlotte.
Okay, so yeah, that was that didn't take the air out of the room. Match was okay. I just felt that there should have been a better way to.
I hated the freaking disqualification ended. I get it. It's setting her up for another match, but man, just so many people were, and I guess that's our own fault because so many people were expecting Charlotte to win and then immediately Carmella to turn around and cash in on it, which would have been fire. But that's our expectations. The match itself was pretty good. It's Natty and Charlotte, so of course it was. It would have been better, again, had we not just... The problem was that the New Days and Usos so emotionally drained me, especially after Xavier Woods taking those repeated Kaine shots. It was just like, I found it hard getting vested, even this far in. And, this is the last match I was going to care about until the very last match.
Where the hell is Carmella?
Making you forget that she's the Money in the Bank winner so that they could turn around and make you feel it or something.
Yes.
But Charlotte over Natty, but it was by disqualification. So still, your SmackDown Women's Champion and still my wife in my head, Natty Neidhart. Which brings us to what brought the fucking air out of the room for me. And that is, of course, Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Jinder won cleanly, again. Although cleanly is in quotations because once again it was because of distractions done by the Singh brother. How many times can you do this fucking ending to this match? Like I'm almost wanting to say, it's a shame that the world title isn't around anymore, but I'm really digging the fact they've got the 3-man tag title back in the rotation again. Because that's all this is at this fucking point. This is what? The second, third pay-per-view that the world championship is not even close to the main event?
Damn right.
And it shouldn't be. Who the fuck cares about Jinder Mahal? The experiment is over.
Well, I think this is the second official from India aired pay-per-view now.
This is also the second SmackDown pay-per-view that this was not the main event.
True.
And there's no excuse for that. This is your fucking world champion. What do I say? What do I say on this thing all the time? The champ goes last.
Yep. And let's also talk about the fact, you know how we talk about how Brock Lesnar gets an auto win when he does the F5? How can we disrespect all the fantastic wrestlers that put their heart and soul into fighting Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT and even more recently in SmackDown for him to win clean with the Colossus?
Once.
And he took a Kinshasa in the face and didn't go down.
They've squandered Shinsuke Nakamura.
They're GBLing the fuck out of Jinder Mahal in a bad way.
I'm done with this match. Let's talk about the next match. Fucking Jinder wins. He's still the fucking champion. Who the fuck cares?
He's gonna be the champion until freaking Royal Rumble.
Until apparently John Cena's gonna take it off of him. Oh boy!
So even worse is they're gonna give him the beat of. So not only am I gonna wait until Royal Rumble for him to win, which by the way, as much as I love Jinder's gimmick and stuff like that, god damn it, take the belt away from him. It's done. He's cooked. He's baked. But besides that, not only do I have to wait for Jinder Mahal to lose the belt at the Royal Rumble, not only do I have to find out that it's going to be freaking John Cena, at least this is all under stipulation, but at the same damn night of those two things, I have to find out that my boy Ric Flair is going to be outmatched by Big Match John for the most titles?
Well, at least Rick has put the stamp of approval on John. He said, I want John to be the guy, which is my big ups to Rick for being that guy. He's always, there's not a lot of people who are that selfless in the business. There's not. Rick himself has not always been that selfless in the business. He's self-admitted, but it's one of those things where it's at least, but I mean, yeah, it's like, so what you're going to put, and so then we're going to have what? Brock Lesnar, Universal Champion, John Cena, World Heavyweight Champion. Couple of part-timers at the top of your card.
I don't know. John's usually and you can't stagnant. Once he's there for a bit. So that's the difference.
Right. Anyway,
but, yeah.
The next match, which was also a fucking just waste of my time, which pains me to say.
It was the goddamn era of the room.
Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler.
The only thing good about this match was Ziggler sticking to his new character thing, and that is the music came on, cuts in the middle, just in the cusp of it, and he just walks out to the ring like it was WWE 2K18, and someone forgot to put the music enabler back on, because it was weird, but it was consistent.
Yeah, it was consistent. I mean, at least they're going all out with the character.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Bobby Roode match, and Bobby Roode is probably one of the best wrestlers in the world. And Dolph Ziggler is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's the best at what he does, and what he does is take stupid bumps and lose. And that's exactly what he did tonight. He took stupid bumps and he lost. You are a loser, Dolph Ziggler. I mean, is there anything else to say? Do we have to keep talking about this match? Bobby Roode won. Dolph Ziggler, like the pain in the ass, little pansy that he's been portraying, hits the zigzag after the match, and meh to the 10th degree. They could have done so much more. Bobby Roode deserved a better. But you know, it's funny because what did I say at the end of the last segment? The way the pay-per-view ends can make or break it for me.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And that brought us to the true main event. And quite honestly, let's be honest here, probably the best storyline this year in wrestling, which is Shane McMahon, here comes the money, versus Kevin Owens. And now let's just talk about some of the shit that has taken place. Yeah. In this time span, Kevin Owens had his last attempt at the U.S. title, which he fucking asked Baron Corbin to be his referee, who was slanted. Shane tried to put a stop to it. Baron Corbin leaves, and Shane ends up being the referee, and Kevin Owens now cannot have another U.S. Well, I guess he can now, because guess who won?
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
Yeah, because somebody else has won. So, but he couldn't have another title shot against AJ was the thing. Kevin Owens has basically just in the middle of one of Sammy's fucking matches, decided he was going to start being referee now, and he tried to for 2 weeks to be refereeing in matches. Shane came out and told him to knock it off. Kevin said some shit about his family, and Shane just beat the shit out of him. Kevin Owens did the whole, I'm going to sue you, and this is going to be the Kevin Owens show, and was talking about who he was going to fire and stuff, and then Mr. McMahon shows up, and it's like, oh, no, I'm a billionaire. I will draw this out until you're bankrupt. So guess what? You're not going to sue no one. You're going to face Shane in Hell in a Cell. And Kevin Owens head-butted the shit out of Vince McMahon.
Well, he said that if a McMahon provokes him, he can beat him senseless. And that is how that happened. It was great. I have to say, that is a signal. If that isn't a sign to say that Vince McMahon has given his seal of approval on the next main guy, Kevin Owens, by letting him beat the fuck out of him, I don't know what else is a signal.
Then we need to give him the main guy belt. We need to give him the main guy belt. That's what we need to do.
It's going to happen.
But he beats the crap out of Vince McMahon. Then he and Shane go back and forth. And so that leads us into the match. And they were white fucking hot.
Yeah.
And this match was
match
like
fucking hot.
The first part of it was, and they did a lot of spots. When they got to the top of the cage, it was like watching a fucking horror show.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, a lot of people said, like I was hanging out with Vest. Mims had gone to bed, but I was hanging out with Vest, and I was like sitting there, like, oh my god, like don't do that. Just, I won't be mad at you guys. Just get down, get down, because they were on the top, and like if one of those things.
I thought there was this king
for a good 10 minutes. I thought someone was going through that, and if somebody did, someone was going to die.
Seriously, I really thought this was King of the Ring all over again with Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. When Kurt Angle was supposed to throw Shane McMahon with the shooter suplex into the King of the Ring glass bed, it was the wrong glass bed. It was a real one, and he was like, "Hit me again, throw it in." And I thought that was happening on the top of the cage. I thought Kevin Owens is like, I guess we missed it. And he was like, throw me in again, because I thought Shane was going to take the hit. I was like,
oh god, that was the worst. Watching that, and then Kevin starts to climb down, and then he does the spot through the table. Shane sets him up on the next table, climbs to the top of the King of the Ring, does the Hail Mary, and just like in WrestleMania, when he takes off, no one's home. But this time, because like last time, we sat there and we pointed out how The Undertaker noped the fuck on out of there. Yeah. But you want to know what? That's not what happened this time. I thought it's what happened this time. I didn't see it at first until the replay. And you didn't either. But as it turned out, someone noped Kevin Owens out of there for him. Yep. And that someone was Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sami, like, selling it, like he was trying to figure out what he was going to do, actually sat there and, like, pulled like freaking Kevin onto Shane, pushed like a bunch of EMTs off of Shane, and your winner, Kevin Owens. But that wasn't the story. The story was Sami.
Oh yeah.
And good for Sami.
I have to say, this is probably the best time a heel turn could ever work so well. But you got to appreciate the irony of this. Sami Zayn, since 2 months into bringing Kevin Owens into NXT, has pretty much made them rivals. Best friends become rivals. We actually still, to this moment, even as we're watching SmackDown right now, as we're doing this podcast, still don't have an answer to why Sami did it. And the one thing I have to say though is it kind of reminds me of that situation, and I put it in our chat room about this, is that Sami Zayn is like that abused girlfriend that refuses to send her boyfriend to jail and call in the cops because he could, even though he beats this crap out of her, and just because he just doesn't want, because he loves him still no matter what. And I feel like that's what's going on with Sami Zayn right now with Kevin Owens. It's just not. Dude,
I don't know what it is. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I hope that's not the way they play it. I hope we get like a good heel, because
I did it for The Rock.
I am just so ready for them to do something of substance with Sami. And if we're honest, SmackDown's kind of light on the heels.
Yeah, you're right.
So I am for this.
And they're changing the heels up quite often. Like Charlotte's now super face.
But I mean, and that's how we left. That's how we left the pay-per-view, with Sammy apparently confused
Well,
as to his action.
To make it very specific, Shane took the severe bump. Everyone was worried that he wasn't moving, and Sammy just takes a still unconscious Kevin Owens and drags him over to Shane McMahon's body to make sure he gets pinned for the 3 count. So that way the match is officially ended by a victory. So that's how that ended, folks.
Yeah. And that was, for better or for worse, Hell in a Cell. What is your letter grade?
Oh, I was joking with a friend of mine about how this was like a sandwich pay-per-view. 2 very good, tasty... You
were joking with me.
Yeah. Well, I was telling someone else, too, but this is the metaphor specifically. 2 very tasty, good slices of bread, like some garlic knot level taste, size bread, really good meat in the middle, and a little bit of bad condiment, like which was the bad mayo, which was Jinder Mahal's match, the bad pickles, which was what do you call it, the Ziggler match with Rude. Everything else was pretty tasty. So that sandwich was pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie, those 2 at the end, I'm gonna give it a B+.
I'm right there with you, B+. We agree. We 100% agree, because the middle wasn't awful. I mean, like Shinsuke and Jinder was awful. Like freaking like freaking Dolphin Rude was awful, but the rest of it was solid. But
yeah, I'm not entirely starstruck about the pay-per-view. I was just excited and I was entertained
the first match
and I liked it.
Yeah, the first match and the last match was
but it didn't
everything.
But it didn't hype me to the point where I was like, this pay-per-view was fucking awesome! Screaming from the rooftops like it was when Dean took the Money in the Bank briefcase and timed it in to take the world title away from that, or when Bray Wyatt won at Elimination Chamber. Those were like, this pay-per-view was fucking awesome! Turn of events situation. This was great. The matches were fantastic. Some of them blad. I'm really intrigued what they're going to do with Sami Zayn, but I didn't scream at the end like that. And that's why I didn't give it an A. That's all.
Well, I mean, and on the same way, like it was one of those things where it was like it hyped me at the beginning, it paid off at the end. Most of the middle was solid. That's worth a solid B+. Yeah. Which means this podcast, your winner for the first time in 3 Heads Up podcasts is SmackDown. You gave it a B. You gave it a B+. While you gave No Mercy a B, I gave it a B+. While I gave No Mercy a C+.
Yeah.
SmackDown wins this round, and which brings us to the question of the day, or the viewer question, or whatever we want to call it.
Well, this is coming from our newly number 1 fan, possibly contending with Laura Lyle right now. Okay. And that is our newest fan, Austin. He's got a question that has a follow-up question, and we kind of dragged it a little bit already on it, but it's still a big deal, and that is, why does the WWE allow Brock Lesnar to keep the title, even though it's obvious that the universe wants anyone else? And the follow-up to that is, in addition, why does WWE bury better talent for Lesnar, like Joe and Strowman?
3 words. 4 words. Make Roman look strong.
Ugh, you're right. It's so hard.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Brock, for fucking reasons that are beyond me, because let's make sure we understand. Brock has the only one-on-one match Brock has lost in the last 2 years, maybe 3. Was Goldberg.
Yeah.
Every time Brock has lost a match, it's been in a triple threat match, which he hasn't been pinned for. Like all of his matches are the same. And it's like I'm not joking. If you look at the Braun Strowman match and you look at the Samoa Joe match, they're the same match fundamentally.
Mm-hmm. Strong beat-ups from the opposer. Eventually Brock gives in with the Suplex City and then F5 win.
To answer the follow-up, why? Because they're stuck with Brock Lesnar with this idea that with him it has to be realistic. It has to be realistic while you've got Bray Wyatt going Norman Bates, while you've got freaking shit, and while you've got freaking Finn Balor turning into a demon, and they've just got this married to this idea that everything with him has to be realistic, and that's the thing. Who's gonna beat him? Who's gonna beat Brock Lesnar? Who can feasibly beat Brock Lesnar? Well, let me tell you, if it wasn't Braun Strowman and it wasn't Samoa Joe, I'm not gonna believe that Roman Reigns is gonna beat him. Are you?
No.
I mean, maybe Jack Gallagher.
The proper heel gentleman right now.
Hey, being a proper gentleman can take you far. Can take you very far in this industry.
I wonder if it's going to take it as far as Kalisto's far.
Well, Kalisto did become the Cruiserweight champion on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And knocked off Enzo Amore for all of that.
Indeed.
But with that said, that will bring us to an end. We would like to once again thank All Arounda for our opening theme, Destruction. We'd like to thank Me Jet for our closing theme, Picnic in the Reactor. And the next time you are going to see us, let's see, the next one is TLC.
Now, is Starrcade happening too?
Starrcade is a Saturday event, and it's not really. It's gonna be like Beast in the East or those like special events they've done on the WWE Network.
I thought it was a SmackDown exclusive.
So we may do a rapid thing with it where we just very quickly give the results like we did with the last one. Let me see real quick if I can figure out what fucking pay-per-view is next. No. That is so fucking unhelpful, guys. Really? Is TLC going to be a joint pay-per-view? I don't know. There's no SmackDown pay-per-view. It's TLC, then Survivor Series.
So maybe they're going to probably post something.
Well, we'll see how this all shakes loose.
It's either that or they're going to wait until after Survivor Series to give SmackDown's pay-per-view. I have no idea. I know.
We'll figure it out on our end.
All I know is if they're going to do Starrcade, WWE, give us Halloween frickin' Havoc. Book it.
Just feels wrong. Starrcade on WWE television.
I'm Dunsky. They better get Cody Rhodes for that.
They're not.
Better.
Oh no, they're not. They're not because they put the cease and desist on the Young Bucks and on the entire Bullet Club from using the 2 Sweet. So they're not getting Cody. They're not gonna get Cody. That's not gonna be a thing that's gonna happen.
All right.
But what will probably end up happening is if there's not another SmackDown pay-per-view before Survivor Series, we'll probably grab Starrcade and we'll probably lump the two of them together or something like that. We'll figure it out. But at any rate, I'm your boy coming to Faded Saints. That is my boy Kaine, Super What Snooker, just like Tamina over there, saying we'll see you on the next podcast.
Later, folks.